All right, y'all, so today we're gonna go pick up my buddy Will. Will is an Airbnb manager out in Michigan, somewhere in Michigan, on the thumb of Michigan. He does short-term rental management, and he's making a killing doing this stuff. So we're gonna pick him up. He's in Austin today. We're gonna go have some fun and show him around Austin a little bit, and we're gonna talk about Airbnb management. So let's keep going. Let's stay tuned. How's it going?
It's going.
You joining us today?
Boy.
Can't leave the house without it, huh? What up, bitch?
Hello.
Hey, morning.
Why are you recording me?
I wanted to show the viewers.
Is this the bang bus?
Oh yeah.
And said he wants a loan for like a 50-something 2-unit, but he's not gonna pay us until he pays off the what he owes. So I'm like, you're stupid. That's not how loans work. You have to pay monthly payments.
That is yours.
Yeah.
They're on the ground. I didn't want to get stuff.
He's like, well, can you get? Oh, sorry. You throw that all the way back there. He's like, can you do creative financing?
On a hard money loan?
Yeah. He's saying
You might want to go back to the basics, the books.
You might want to go on Bigger Pockets.
he said all
blog.
profits would be paid back directly to you or whomever until the loan was paid off in full. Then perpetual equity is a must, 15% of profits. Like, you're freaking crazy.
You should kill him.
And he literally said, I've got good deals to acquire, not to mention I can't really afford to get my first multifamily. I've offered perpetual equity, stake in the LLC, all profits aside from maintenance, operating costs, and etc. Going back to pay the mortgage, all kinds of creative stuff, and haven't had anyone help. Well, no shit. That's why you can't acquire anything.
Because you haven't done that deal. Yeah.
And he's like saying like he doesn't want to pay anything. I'm like, how do you? Oh my gosh, people are crazy.
I actually get what he's saying. It's actually a good idea.
But no one's gonna do it.
What
Yeah,
lender's
but,
going to sign?
A hard money might, because if they're, perpetual equity in a deal like that, it would just be tough because you don't know them. It'd be different, like if you had a relationship with them, that's not a bad deal. Because he's basically saying, hey, listen, we pay all the expenses, then everything that's left over goes back to the mortgage.
Yeah.
And you get an ownership stake in the property, so after the payments are made,
Yeah.
you get...
Oh.
But he's probably looking for a private lender, not a hard money lender.
Yeah, that would be
You know what I mean?
deal. It'd be a better deal for a private lender, for sure. I get what it's actually not a bad idea.
It isn't, but
Yeah, hard money wouldn't do that. A private lender would, because that's their own equity, you know. That's
Yes,
their own
right.
money.
I was looking at it. Yeah, and the fact that he's telling you, hey, I don't have enough money to buy my first deal, like,
That's going to get you to the
that doesn't make me want to invest with you.
that really just puts the fucking...
I mean, if he has a really
Cherry on
good credit
top.
score and has like liquidity, then that's like all we need. But homeboy coming in with the 530 credit score and
He's actually
has
homeless.
debt.
All right, so we're taking Sir Francis William Mossett IV to go get some ramen for the first time.
Ramen.
Not top ramen, the real ramen.
He only knows top ramen. I guess it's a Midwest thing.
I prefer top ramen.
Jared had the same experience last time we took him here.
life changing.
He was like, what type of ramen? And it was like top ramen.
Life changing.
Dude, uncultured fucking degenerate over here. Degenerates. These guys have drinks on them, do you think? Or do you think they're just backpacks? We should jump up.
What is this place? It's like a mall slash like...
Yeah, it's an outdoor mall.
It's a mall, and then on top.
Red Bull?
Hell yeah! Is it
Yes.
free?
Red Bull's complimentary?
Dude, let's go. We were just asking you. Ain't
Cheers.
no way. Thank you.
Sorry, only
Part
the
of our
kids today.
uniform.
You'll have to catch us later.
I'm not gonna lie.
What do you
We're,
guys do?
If you were to lose your backpack for $100,
These go for like a lot more on
dude,
eBay.
ain't no way. We're low-key thinking about stealing your backpacks and running.
Oh my
We were
god.
just talking about it.
Call my manager and be like, we just got jumped. You won't believe it. We
It was
just
his
got
idea.
jumped. His
For
idea.
like $2,000.
All right.
Like for marketing. Yeah, we work for Red Bull, so we drive around the little Mini Cooper and
No
go everywhere
way.
and anywhere. Yeah.
That is sick. Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, you too. So these are all the bars, but like in different parts of the domain. It looks similar to this. And you have like Lululemon, like
So it's like a bunch of like bars and like
They have a lot of luxury.
like every shop you can think of. There's like a luxury section, a normal section.
Louis Vuitton. That's sick.
Yeah, they have Louis Vuitton, like Dave Spade, David Yurman.
So is this like a popular place?
Did I say David Spade?
Oh
11.
Oh, that door was locked. Was it?
Do you have the chili powder?
Yeah, chili powder, some more water,
Thank you.
And then a lemon. Thank you. Sorry.
Look at that.
Yummy. Jared's like, I'm digging in.
Jared, you want to know how to become a better salesman? Buy this girl and murdered you. I feel like it's so hot. I feel like it's gonna burn my mouth.
Better than Top Ramen?
Yep, it's pretty fucking good.
I know.
It's a lot better than Top Ramen. Let's go. Are you sure this isn't Top Ramen?
Dude, it ain't Top Ramen.
No.
So today we got Francis William Mossett the third,
The fourth.
the fourth.
Close.
So you own an Airbnb company.
Yep.
You manage 21 Airbnbs.
Yep. Hopefully 21.
Well, you're signing on 21. As of today, he got another lease.
Another lead. Yep.
Okay. And you're making 35% on each one, a 35% management fee, which is insane because Austin usually has 15%. So 35% is pretty good for you.
Yeah, I would say it's probably one of the highest numbers I've heard.
Okay.
But I mean, we get away with it because we have zero competition in our area and no professional services. So we just bring a lot of value to the area when there isn't any.
So out of that 21, are any of them yours, or is it just all clients?
So we own 7, and then the rest of them are third-party management clients.
Okay, so
14 clients.
14 clients, 7 of you.
7 are ours, yep.
Okay, and how much do they generally produce?
So we'll do over $1 million a year, or we'll do over $1 million next year in revenue.
In just all those gross revenue?
Yeah, and that's like just from all the houses, the revenue collected, we'll do over $1 million.
Okay, and how much net?
I would say from the management business, we'll probably net right around $200,000, and then from our properties, we'll net probably close to like $400,000.
How many employees do you have?
So we have one full-time property manager who we just brought on. She's been with us for about 3 months, and then we have a full-time finished carpenter for a living on the payroll that has been with us for 1.5 years now.
You're 24 years old. You have 2 employees. You have a business that produces $1 million in revenue. You net about $200,000 for the business or yourself?
So for the business, so that's like after all payroll, after all of our expenses, the management business will net around $200,000. And then our vacation rentals that we own have a profit of about $400,000.
So how'd you get into it, starting out?
So I actually got into it my sophomore year in college. My family had a vacation home. My dad was doing all the management and just basically got sick of it, fed up with dealing with the complaints, the people, all the issues that came along with a vacation rental. And being the broke college kid I said, it can't be that hard, let me take over this. So, I definitely got my foot in the door by having a property that was already owned by my family. But then we took it to the next level and we increased revenue by like 20% the first year. So, I had no idea what I was doing, getting my ass kicked every single day. But, getting my butt kicked every day, I learned a lot in a very short amount of time. And then we were kind of just able to take those profits and keep rolling them into the next deal.
Okay. So Will, backtracking, is one of my closest friends. We conversate at least once or twice a week, text message, phone call.
Unfortunately.
Way
too much.
Calls me randomly.
Oh my god, 3 a.m. and I'm like, damn, he's calling again.
He's one of the he's one of the closest people I talk to daily. We mastermind together, we work together, we do all this stuff. But Will owns apartments, owns 19, 20 units?
19 units.
19 units of an apartment with another partner, just him and that partner, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He owns the Airbnb management business. But the reason why I'm asking to not only interview him, but hopefully we can dive into some systems, is because he's killing it at his age. He's making money, and you have a degree, but you don't even really use it. Like, it doesn't bring you any value.
Nope.
And so these are the people I generally hang out with. We got a bunch of people in my community who I surround myself with who are just around the same age, just killing it, but doing different things. I'm focused a lot on self-storage and just finding deals. He's focused on now multifamily, and he's also doing Airbnb management. And so he's finding ways to create money and just opportunities for himself, and having a kick-ass time, having fun, flying down to Austin, doing things with his boys. So backtracking a little bit, I wanted to show that and get that on camera so I can show him a little bit of the systems.
Yeah, and then like 2 years from now when we do this video again, it'll be
fucking
kick-ass.
funny,
Yeah,
dude.
it'd be sweet to
It'll
see.
be sick. It'll be a little journal.
Be complete.
You told us the revenue. How much time does it take out of you yourself?
So with the new property manager that we just hired, I've been spending a ton of time training her. So probably about like 20 hours a week just training her, spending time with her, taking phone calls, answering her questions. And now that she's kind of 90% trained to how we need her to operate, really the vacation rental property management shouldn't be more than like 5 hours a week for me. However, where a lot of my time is going to be invested is going to drive new revenue to help pay for her and then, make the business more money. So the vacation rental management, now that we have her, is probably only 5 hours a week.
Just for you.
Yeah, just for me.
Just for you. And for her, she's on full-time pay. She's doing 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then your carpenter, same?
Yeah.
Or is he on a case-by-case basis?
So he doesn't, we have a weird relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
He will go some months where he, works 40 hours the entire month, and then he'll have some months where he works 120 hours, you know what I mean? Like just ridiculous hours. So he's like kind of on and off, like depending on how much work we have for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we put him on payrolls, just because it kind of generally evens out in the end.
He only spends 5 hours on this a week. 5 hours a week. He's able to do other shit like playing video games.
Yeah, but he was talking to Danny.
Talking to me on the phone for at least 3 hours.
At least
And,
a day.
I don't know, playing hockey.
Yep.
But do you mind showing us some systems?
Of course, let's dive into
cool.
it.
Okay, so I am having good old Francis here get on Hospitable. He's going to show us a little bit of his systems, a little bit what he does, all the automation he uses in order to manage the 20 Airbnb he uses, and that only take him about 5 hours a week to manage. So we're going to be able to see kind of what that looks like, how it is running a short-term rental business. Yes, he's making 35% margins on these. That doesn't mean in your market that you may. But I think it's a really cool business. I think it's really cool what he does and how he's able to automate most of the stuff. So he doesn't have to do anything. So it's all the software. Some of the stuff might be a VA, might be his employee, but for the majority, it is usually the software. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so let's see what you got going on here.
So this is Hospitable, and basically what Hospitable is at its core is it is a calendar management software that allows you to basically coordinate with guests without using multiple platforms. So for example, the very common platform is Airbnb, but then the second most common platform is VRBO, and a lot of people are not listing their properties on both because you run into issues with, if someone books on Airbnb for July 4th, for example, and you don't block off Airbnb for July 4th, you could potentially have a double booking. So a lot of people don't utilize both platforms because they don't know how to sync their calendars. And also, if you have a guest on Airbnb and then the next week you have one on VRBO, you're using two apps to constantly respond to people. There's not really a great way to do it. So that's why you need something like Hospitable that will basically bring all of your properties into a single software and allow you to communicate with all the guests through one platform while also syncing all your calendars. So that at its root is what Hospitable is. It's a really great program that's very affordable. You're not going to be paying $500 a month if you have 20 properties. I think we have 20 and we pay right around like just under $200 a month. So, and I think for one property it's $25 a month. So very, very reasonable.
Yeah, I paid $20 a month, and I use the same thing for my Airbnb. But Will helped me up. He set me up he set up my entire Airbnb, and it manages itself. I barely respond to anything. I do the cleanings myself because it's next door to my house. But other than that, it's super easy.
Yeah, so so we can kind of see, you have your dashboard on Hospitable, and honestly, I don't really use a whole lot of this on this page. A lot of what you're going to be using, for example, is the inbox page where you can see we're coordinating with guests from every single platform. So we have VRBO, Airbnb, we're also on Bookings.com. We can go through, we can pre-approve people through this, we can send quotes, we can do a lot of things. You can even see that we have our own booking through Hospitable, and then that way we can communicate with guests through their email all in one centralized place, which is really nice. This is where it's really worth its money and weight, is basically you can sync multiple properties to each other. So for example, if we click on this listing, you can see that we have Airbnb and VRBO synced under one listing, which will then bring in the calendars to ensure that you're not having any potential double bookings. And you can also control all of the pricing through Hospitable. So that's one of the really great things about this is, let's say, for example, you need to change the price on that property. So for example, we can go in and change these and set a price of, let's just say like $325 a night. Well, that's going to update our pricing on both Airbnb and VRBO, which is great because then we don't have to go into each platform and update the pricing manually, do all those things. And then it'll obviously save itself and we'll be good to go. Now, the next biggest feature of Hospitable is what's called the messaging rules. And this is what saves you the most time if you have anything to do with an Airbnb or vacation rental. Basically what you're able to do is automate 90% of the messages that you will receive from guests. So that's going to include things like your check-in instructions, your welcome messages, checking in on the guests to see how they're doing, checkout instructions. We always follow up asking them to leave us a great review. We find that helps us get more 5-star reviews. And then we also do this as a way to kind of market to our guests and bring them into our CRM system, so that way we can advertise to them in the future and fill dead weekends. If the house is sitting empty and you can fill it for a cheap price, it's pure profit.
One thing that I find really valuable with Hospitable is not only the rules, but the operations. So he just went over everything that he uses. He syncs it with VRBO, right? He is he's going over through multiple of his properties. They're all on a calendar view, so you can see who's booking, what are they booking, for what dates, whether it's VRBO, Airbnb, or there's a third one, travel, I don't know.
Bookings.com.
Bookings.com.
Yeah.
So he has all three of them synced up. It tells him who's booked it, when they booked it. It communicates on its own for most of the responses. And then also he has rules that he has set up. He has house rules. He has pricing that he can change. But another thing is how you're going to communicate with your team. He has maintenance people, right? He has people that are going to go out there that are going to clean the place. And so if you can dive into that.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's, definitely one of the best features for this is what's called the user management. So this is basically how we allow our team to see the calendars at any point in the day. So you can see right here, these are our 3 main maintenance and cleaning employees, and they have access to the calendars so they can see what bookings are coming in, what bookings are going out, and that eliminates a ton of communication that we have to have with our cleaning crews, because I'm not the one responsible for telling them when they have to clean now. Now they can just look at the calendar, they can self-regulate. As long as they're getting the job done, I don't really care when they do it, as long as it gets done before the next people come in. The other great feature about this is for property management is you can give access to all of your owners. So, all of our owners can see their calendars at all times. They can, go in there, see when their next booking is. They can, see, oh, hey, Will told us we had 15 payouts this month, and I'm only showing, I'm showing 14 bookings on the calendar. Why did that happen? So it really allows the guests to see more clear communication and really allow them to verify what we are telling them is the truth. We try to be super transparent with our property management business. We charge a lot because we don't mess around with fees and nickel and diming people. I would rather charge a flat fee, do a great job, than have to worry, oh, I need to charge you, $25 for that laundry soap I ran over. That's not really how I like to do business. I would rather be just very honest with how I do it. And if people don't want to pay for it, that's fine. So owners love being able to see their calendars. So if you're ever going to do property management, make sure that your software can give your owners access to the calendars.
So another thing is too, how are you going through there and paying your tenants, right? So you got a new lease, right? You're working on a new lease. What does that system look like? Setting them up to get their property, start managing it. Then how do payouts work? Is payouts done on hospitable? Is it done on some other payment method? How does that work?
That's a great question. So once an owner contacts us, so this new owner that we're meeting with this week, she reached out to us today. She, heard from us from one of the store owners. We go around passing out our business cards, meeting the store owners because it's a very small community. And a lot of the times word of mouth is the best way for us to get new clients. So this potential client came over to us from one of the store owners that we have a great relationship from. And basically what we do after the initial call, we'll ask a few questions, figure out where the property is so we can do some research. We'll prepare a welcome packet, and then we'll go meet with the owners at their property to basically give them a better idea of how this would go for them. And we go through, we answer all their questions. We have a list of questions that they have to answer, and they'll always ask us questions as well. Another important aspect is to make sure that your owners have the right insurance. There is such a thing as vacation rental property insurance. If you have regular insurance on your home and something were to happen while a guest was staying there, well, the insurance company could say, hey, this isn't short-term rental insurance, we're not going to cover it. So you really need to make sure that your owners have the right types of insurance, or else they could be in a lot of trouble, if their home were to burn down, for example. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. We basically go through, we will walk them through the steps of, hey, so what step number one would be is we recommend you do this, this, and this to your home. That's something we can help with. Of course, we charge to do those things. Once this, and this is done, we will come in, we'll get professional photos, we'll get drone video. We have a really great photographer that we work with. Shout out to Chris Burton, he's awesome. He does all of our videos. So we get professional videos done, and we have a lot of fun with it. And then we basically will then have the owner sign a contract. We'll get them listed and under our property management fee agreement. And then at that point, we would list on Airbnb and VRBO and start moving forward. So it's really simple for the owners. Most of the times the owners will have us do a lot of the prep work to get the home ready. And that really allows us to get this done in a quick manner because time kills deals. So if you're not constantly on top of things, the owners will kind of lose interest and they won't have shiny object syndrome, which is usually what gets people to sign the agreements in the first place. So making sure that you get the deals done quickly and efficiently is a huge must in this business.
So as far as that now how does the payouts work?
The payouts are basically a statement that we prepare at the end of the month, and we will go through, we'll list all the reservations, how much the payouts were, we'll break everything down, cleaning fees, payouts, what they were, and we'll show them on an Excel file that's super easy to read. It's got a home page. It'll say, hey, we did this much in revenue from VRBO, we did this much revenue from Airbnb, this is how much we collected in cleaning fees. It'll add it all up, it'll show exactly what our fees were, it'll show what they owe us for cleaning, and then it'll also show, did we have any additional expenses? So like lawn care is something we charge extra for, snow removal. And then at that point, all the money flows to us initially, and then we would ACH transfer directly into their bank account. That way we can control, basically, we're not having to constantly collect from owners. We're not having to make sure they pay us. We are making sure we get our money, and the owners get their money before the 7th every single month. So they get a payout once a month, and it's always before the 7th.
Okay. And then when you are managing these, if you like for instance, let's say you rented it out and you just broke even, what happens?
What do you mean break even?
If you break even or you didn't get it rented, like let's say demand in Airbnb drops, what happens to the tenant? What happens to you guys?
Do you mean the owner?
Correct.
Okay. At that point, I mean, most owners, we just keep moving forward. We've never had a month like that. The only time we haven't rented a home in a full month was because the owner, didn't leave us any dates open.
Mm-hmm.
We try to only work with owners that want to rent out their home full time. However, we do have a couple owners who are a little bit more particular.
Mm-hmm.
So, when things like that happen, usually you just don't send them a statement, or you just say, hey, we didn't have any bookings this month. I really haven't had that happen to me yet, so we'll see what I do when that happens.
So how do you know what price to go with? I know you use another software to do your pricing software.
Mm-hmm.
I know you also know your market very well, so now it doesn't really matter to you. You already know. But if somebody was a newbie, like for instance for me, when I first got my Airbnb, I hit up Will and I was freaking out. I was absolutely losing my shit because I'm like, Will, I don't know what I did. I don't think it's going to do well. So I lowered my prices to $90 a night with a 25 discount for the first 3 people. I woke up, I had 10 bookings that day. And I was like, well, now I have a bad problem. I have bookings, but now I'm not going to pay my mortgage off because it's so cheap. And then Will was like, Danny, you're an idiot. You should have called me 3 months ago. And then so I was like, damn. So he set me up. He put me on Price Labs. Do you mind going through that?
Yeah. Price Labs is what we call a dynamic pricing tool. And yeah, I remember Danny calling me basically in tears, streaming down his face. The guy's crying. I'm like, Danny, it's okay. No, he wasn't crying, but it was pretty funny actually. It was hilarious. The poor guy. Yeah, but anyways, if you're getting started out and you don't know what price to list your home at, what you're going to want to do is find a dynamic pricing tool like Price Labs. I highly recommend them. They've been great for us. And Price Labs will take into account all of the Airbnb listings in your area and track their calendars to determine, hey, properties are booking up at $100 a night, but they're not booking up at $200 a night. And what they try and do is generate the most revenue for you. So you're not going to be the cheapest, but you're also not going to be the most expensive. And they'll basically give you a base price and they'll stay within that base price and automatically adjust prices up and down based on demand. So for example, in our area, July 4th is a super popular weekend. They have prices at 50% more than what I would set them, even though I know the market really well. But in the off season, the same house that rents for $1,000 a night might only be $150 a night. So they do a really good job at keeping it dynamic and making sure that your prices change. Also, another side benefit is when your prices are changing constantly, you also get pushed up in the algorithm for search rankings. So when Airbnb sees, hey, this guy's really changing his prices, he really wants bookings, he's constantly updating them, well, we're going to push him in the search rankings because obviously he cares about his listing and we want him to be booked more. So it's another way to kind of appear in the higher search results while also ensuring that your pricing is accurate. It's never going to be perfect. If you want automation, it won't be perfect. But if you can get 90% of the way there with no time invested, that's a win.
So backtracking a little bit, losing my arm strength. Backtracking a little bit.
It's because you're weak. You gotta go to the gym more.
I have to. Backtracking a little bit. So Will got me on Price Labs. I started getting pricings and started getting bookings at $125 a night, and then it went to $150 a night, and then during major weekends in Austin, I was getting $1,000 for 3-day weekends, and it was the best thing I've ever done. Our Airbnb, I only have one. Our Airbnb pays off our entire mortgage, and we live rent-free in Austin. And I give it all to Will because now I switched my Airbnb to midterm rental. I only do one cleaning a month, and it does very, very well for me and my family. Now for Will, it's a different strategy. He's doing short-term rentals. Are you strictly only doing short-term rentals? Do you do midterm?
No, in our area, we're a destination area, so we don't have a lot of people coming to stay for 30 days.
Okay. So he's doing short-term rentals. Obviously, there's a lot of churn with that. So hospitable Price Labs is the way to go for him because it helps him get that. Do you still use Price Labs even though you know your area, or do you think it's kind of overkill?
I use Price Labs on our smaller listings that are a little bit more volatile on pricing, but I find that for really large properties, it doesn't do such a great job in the busy season.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's using these 2 softwares. Do you use anything else besides those?
No, those are the 2 that I use.
And that runs your entire business?
90% of it.
If it broke down tomorrow, what would happen?
The softwares?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I go jump off a cliff. I wouldn't want to be here. We're responding 90% of your messages are the 5 things I listed: check-ins, check-outs, follow-up, checking in on the guests. So if you don't have that, that's like 90% of your business, and that's why you hate Airbnbs.
So now what's the goal? You have all this, you have 20, almost 21
Hopefully 21.
under management. What's the goal from here?
Our goal is to keep growing and expanding. By the end of 2023, we'd like to be at 100 properties under management. I think that's completely realistic, given that we went from 0 to 20 in a year. Well, I guess it'd be like 0 to 15 properties under management. But long story short, completely reasonable. We're starting a direct mail campaign to pick up new clients, and we're constantly, out advertising, meeting people for new clients.
All right, guys. So it is currently 22:30, and same day we interviewed Will. Took a shower, changed my clothes, and I just wanted to thank you guys if you made it this far. If you watched the whole series, I hope it helped you understand a little bit about Airbnb property management, what Will's doing, and how you can implement it. I don't know many people that put stuff out like that on YouTube, so I'm hoping it brings you a ton of value. Nonetheless, we're going to be diving more into some self-storage systems, some multifamily systems, visiting different facilities, interviewing more of my friends, interviewing more killers that are around my age, that are just murdering it, at such a young age, whether they have degrees, whether they not have degrees, whether they use their degree, whether they do use their degree. I want you guys to be able to see that you can do it. You can live a lifestyle that you want, and that you could just be above anything that you want to be, right? So hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms. Danny A. Aguirre is what it is for majority of my platforms. But if you guys need me, if you guys reach out to me, go ahead and DM me on Instagram. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button on here. We're going to be doing more vlog type content for not only self-storage, but a little bit of everything. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.
I don't know where we're gonna go from here. I can't be sure, but I'ma keep on steering.